Welcome, dear viewers, dear listeners, to another episode of the series, The True School is Life. Today on the topic, everyone is the architect of his own happiness. The fact that the school called life always presents us with new tasks has certainly been experienced many times by each one of us. And the one who helps us to master this school on earth is Christ, who is in us with his strength and who wants us to find true freedom and inner happiness in our lives. Well, what is happiness? Everyone strives for it. But how can we achieve it? In one of the countless teaching hours from the divine wisdom, Gabriele, the prophetess and emissary of God, gave us help upon help from the treasure of her experience and her opened consciousness in order to draw closer to true happiness, and we would like to read some excerpts from it. Starting from the statement, "Every human being wants to be happy," Gabriele asked the question, are young people happy? Are they satisfied? Is what people call happiness lasting? Are middle-aged people happy from within and one with life? Are elderly people happy? Are their days filled with the sun of life? Are they content? And do they rest in themselves?
According to Gabriele, to be able to think about these questions can be a gain for our life. And Gabriele continued, most people paint a sad picture of their life. Why is that so? Very many people lack their own spiritual life substance. But this neither falls into our lap, nor can one of our neighbors give it to us, even if we often stubbornly expect or even demand it of them. The substance of life arises solely from our own inner being. It comes from the inner life that the individual awakens and builds up more and more by becoming active in the step-by-step fulfillment of God's commandments and the teachings of Jesus of Nazareth. From this comes the true gain in life, a raised feeling of life, of inner cheerfulness, of security, which fulfills us and makes us happy, which motivates us to action and to the right deed, and which radiates into everything we think, speak, and do. This is active, giving life in the Spirit of the Christ of God, which makes us rich, joyful, and free in our hearts. Life is the flowing and working of divine energy. Therefore, life is active and creative. Life is giving and leads to unity. Those who close themselves off from this stream of life through their ego-centered, externalized thinking and striving are impoverished in their hearts and poor in energy. All the more do these people wish for happiness, which, as they think, should come to them from without. And Gabriele explains further. Many people understand happiness or being happy as the external accommodation of others. However, this idea is merely a human view of happiness or of being happy, a projection of wishful content. Happiness through the human energies of others. If such an exchange of human energies occurs, it is just a brief flight of fancy, a flare-up, energetically equivalent to a short circuit.
Many, very many people are content with these short circuits. Their antennas are constantly directed outward in an effort to receive energy from fellow human beings, energy in the form of attention, solace, confirmation, encouragement, praise, affection, and ultimately love. They can't be brightened up with anything, with absolutely nothing. The motto of their subconscious is, "There is nothing that can make me happy." They remain permanently unhappy because they are convinced that others must fill out their existence. They let themselves go, and over time become comfortable in their sordid thoughts. The consequence of this is that they also embody the quality of their thoughts externally. Since they lack mental and physical energy, the horizon of their awareness becomes ever narrower. They become lethargic and stereotypically revolve around their own concerns. Those who do not recognize and come to terms with their passive attitude remain dependent, self-centered, unstable people who are lacking in energy. Their subconscious echolocation constantly targets and scans their surroundings to see if they can tap, flatter, or wrest some energy from one or another of their fellow human beings.
Gabriele explained more about people with such a passive, basic attitude. The indifference and lethargy toward themselves and their fellow human beings, ultimately their low energy level, lead to a hefty disparagement of their neighbors. A characteristic feature of the lethargic is that they permanently criticize others, how they should do things better, that they are unqualified in this and that point of view or matter, that they are too narrow-minded, and other such things. These people know everything better. If they are asked why they don't do things better, there is a torrent of accusations as to why these impossible people, these conceited, self-important big shots, actually allow themselves to ask such questions, etc. The last sentence of this campaign of reproaches then goes something like this. Do you maybe think you are better than the others? Why don't you do it better? The know-it-all now has something to talk about again. Both among his peers and at work, the so-called smart aleck is discussed. One looks for and finds this and that, whatever one can find fault with, and pins on oneself the badge of rebuff that reads, "I sure gave it back to him good and proper." It continues in this ego jargon day after day. This is the doctrine and pride of the so-called Christian Western world. Pay everybody right back in kind and pillory them. Then you show strength. Jesus, the Christ, taught us something completely different. He exemplified to us the respect for our neighbor, to show them goodwill and understanding, and to keep peace with them. Jesus, the Christ, spoke of active faith, of the energy in his spirit. Whoever hears these words of mine and acts on them is like a wise one who built their house on a rock.
Gabriele continued. Anyone who wants to get out of the general disaster of not knowing, or the personal dilemma of personal illusory prosperity, must learn to change their thinking. The forces that bring help, solution, salvation, health, and gain in life are anchored neither in the state, nor in the church institutions, nor in science and economy, but they are in each and every one of us. They become effective when we change our way of thinking, speaking, and doing, that is, our behavior, by becoming aware of the true Christian values that we received from God through Moses in the Ten Commandments and from Christ in his Sermon on the Mount. These are our guides to a fulfilled, peaceful, free, more and more sun-drenched from within, and thus happy life. Whatever politicians, scientists, and economists may promise us will be of no use in our time. The unknowing masses lean on the unknowing worldly teachers, so that it can be said, "The blind lead the blind, and both fall into the pit." Gabriele explained more, telling us how we can begin so that we find our way to a fulfilled, peaceful life. She said, "Each of us is the architect of their own fortune. We don't have to wait. We don't have to depend on whether the other person means well with us, whether the employer will continue to give us work, whether the surgeon will place the knife precisely on our body and properly cut out the diseased organ, whether the life partner will love us despite adverse circumstances, whether we will continue to be an unlucky person, and much more. We ourselves have it in our hands to nourish our being on the ascendant and experience again in life. We don't need to wait until people are well disposed toward us. Start today and now to change your thinking, and from now on, you begin to become another person.
Gabriele gave us many tips on how we can become new people, independent and free. Tips that we can start with right away. Gabriele said, "Thinking about the following principles brings the first gain. Thought and action that is willed by God makes others happy and strong of hope. At the same time, happiness and the light of hope return strengthened to your heart."
Another principle is remain in the awareness that you should do to others as you would have them do to you.
Or, never wait for outside help. As far as you can, help yourself. Leave everything else to God. If you help others to help themselves, you will be helped by the spirit of love that is in you.
Do not expect others to make sacrifices to make you happy. If you do, you are, as it were, inviting unhappiness. This is not a gain in life, but an immediate dismissal of life, because life contains all that is beautiful and good. It can make you valuable to others. Therein lies the gain of life.
Make each minute of your day spiritually fruitful, and you will experience a time that is rich in blessings.
Another principle: do not harm any being, neither human nor animal, plant or stone. Endeavor to increase the well-being of all people, beings, and life forms. In this way, you will increase your inner happiness and the communication to the all-being, because in the long run, only that serves us that serves all beings.
Those who give their best each day, oriented to the fullness that is God in them, without expecting thanks and recognition, will very soon learn and experience that they are giving from the fullness that knows no limits.
Realize again and again anew that whatever we persistently think, both positively and negatively, is what we become. That is then carried out in us and in our environment.
Move great thoughts in yourself, because you are greater than you think.
Stay with your rules for life. Stay with yourself. Stop waging a battle against your neighbor. That is lost life force.
Be alert toward yourself. This is the chance to quickly change yourself toward the positive.
Reconcile with your neighbor. Do good.
Cultivate God-willed thoughts. Be willing to help and be understanding.
Learn to belong to yourself. Become one in and with yourself. Then you will also make and keep peace with your fellow human beings.
Again and again, collect your positive thoughts and direct them toward the powers of the Christ of God in you. Actualize His teachings. Then you will gain the strength to successfully fight every weakness, and you will be the victor.
Gabriele continues, become aware daily that your inner being is a cosmic being. The powers in you are the kingdom of God. They serve all things and all people. For this reason, think about the true welfare of all human beings, all beings, all being. That is the common good.
Gabriele gave another principle. Only those who have become spiritual heroes are truly forbearing. Their soul is above the all-too-humanness in this world. Those who have attained heroism and forbearance with Christ will never consciously harm a human being or an animal or a plant, nor will they betray their fellow human beings.
Anyone who has become empty of every all-too-human quality will be full of light. But the one who is divided between one time God, then again the world, joins the darkness. Jesus said, either for or against me.
And Gabriele encouraged us. The application of these rules for life strengthens our faith, consolidates our trust in Christ, and increasingly establishes the connection with Him, who is the power, the light, and the true life in us. Dear viewers, dear listeners, we are at the end of a powerful teaching hour, rich in content, and we are free. God, our Father, created us as free beings, as His sons and daughters. Thus, the countless teachings from divine wisdom are also an offer that we can accept and try out if we want to. During this teaching hour, Gabriele has given many hints and also specific rules for life that help us to attain contentment and inner happiness. Which one appealed to us the most? As we heard, everyone is the architect of his own fortune. If we want, we can start with this sentence, with this principle, and step by step become the reformer of our lives. For today, we take our leave of you. Until the next time, when it is again, the true school is life. Goodbye and greetings in God.
Der Ruf des Christus Gottes durch Sophia.
The call of the Christ of God through Sophia. The Messianic Sophianic age is the light of the appearance of the Christ of God in alert, God-conscious souls and people. His call to all of us. Come all to me, the Christ of God. I want to lead you and place the truth in your heart. God in you. For you are the temple of God, and the Spirit of love, which is God, dwells in you.
Fürchtet euch nicht.
Fear not.
Betet in das Christus
Pray
Gottes
into the Christ of God
Bewusstsein
consciousness,
hinein, das in der Nähe
which pulsates
eures physischen
near your
Herzens
physical heart.
pulsiert. Ich, das Leben,
I,
bin
the
euer
life, am the one who
Wegbereiter
paves the way
und
for you,
durch
and go
euren
with you
Tag
through your day
und in das
and into the
wahre
true
Leben,
life,
das im
which knocks
Urgrund
in the
eurer
very
Seele
basis of
pocht,
your soul,
das
which
euch
makes you
frei
free
macht und
and
euch
prepares you for
vorbereitet für
eternity.
die Ewigkeit. Wann und wo, das übergebt mir,
When
dem Christus
and where,
Gottes,
leave
denn
that to
ich
me,
bin
the
der
Christ of God,
geistige Messias
for I
und
am
euer
the
Erlöser,
spiritual Messiah
der
and
ist
your
vom
Redeemer,
Vater gesandt
who is sent
und
by
der
the Father
war in
and who
Jesus
was
von
in
Nazareth.
Jesus of Nazareth.
Meine Worte als
My
Jesus
words
von
as Jesus of
sind
Nazareth
die
are the
erlösenden,
redeeming,
gleich
that is,
befreienden
liberating words.
Ich komme bald.
I come soon.
Deshalb der Ruf.
Therefore, the
Kommet
call,
alle zu
come
mir,
all to
dem
me,
Christus
the
Gottes
Christ of
her,
God,
zu eurem
to your
Erlöser,
Redeemer who
der
dwells in
euch
you,
wohnt,
who
der
waits
auf
for you,
euch wartet
and
und
who
der euch
wants to
führen
lead you
möchte
to
in
the
das
eternal
ewige
Father's
Vaterhaus.
house.
Dann,
Then,
wenn euch der
when the
Ewige
Eternal
ruft,
calls you,
Gott, mein
God,
Vater,
my
der
Father,
auch euer Vater
who is
ist.
also your Father.
Fürchtet euch nicht.
Fear
Der
not.
Ewige kennt den Tag
The Eternal
und
knows
die
the day
Stunde,
and
denn
the
das
hour,
Licht der Heimat
for the light of the
atmet
homeland
durch euch
breathes through you
und
and
begleitet
goes with your
euren
breath.
Atem. Ich, der Christus Gottes,
I,
rufe
the
euch
Christ
und
of God,
bitte euch,
call you
die
and
Lampen
ask
mit
you
Öl zu
to fill
füllen,
your lamps with
denn
oil,
das Licht
for the
in
light in
euch
you
ist
is
der
the
Weg,
way, the
die
truth,
Wahrheit
and
und
the
das
life.
Leben. Ich, Christus, bin die Wahrheit
I,
und das
Christ,
Leben.
am the truth and the life.
Ich bin bei euch
I
alle
am with
Tage
you all the
eures
days
irdischen
of your
Lebens
earthly life
und in
and
Ewigkeit.
in all eternity.
Seine Söhne und Töchter
His
sind
sons
die
and daughters
Ewigkeit
are the
in
eternity
ihm,
in him, in me, the caller
dem
in you.
Rufer in euch. Kommet alle zu mir, dem
Come all
Christus
to me,
Gottes
the
her.
Christ of God,
Seid im Gebet
in
und
prayer,
in euren
and in your
Gedanken
thoughts
eins mit mir.
be one with me,
Und ihr werdet
and you
wahrhaft
will
keinen
truly
Schaden
suffer no
nehmen
harm
an
in
Leib
body
und
and
Seele.
soul.
Folget also mir nach, dem
So follow
Jesus,
me,
dem
the Jesus,
Christus,
the Christ.
Ich kenne den
I
Weg
know the way
ins
to
Leben.
life.
Ich bin das Leben.
I am the life.